Listen to her.
Listen to me now. Hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we are siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Oh my gosh, we love it so much in the least creepy way ever.
Yeah, in the most normal person way.
Super normal stuff.
Yeah. We just like stories. We don't.
Yeah, right.
We're just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, comment, all the things helps a ton, and of course, a huge shout out to Sabrina.
Let's
go, Sabrina. Sabrina sent us a case suggestion this week. And
it's in the queue.
And surprise, today we're starting a two-parter.
So Sabrina's. You looked mad at me for a second.
Oh no, go ahead.
It's probably coming out in 3 weeks, right? 2 weeks.
I'm like
2.5 weeks.
This case that she recommended is in Buckeye, Arizona, and I have never heard of
Spooky.
it. So I'm like already hooked. So yeah, the sooner the better we get that out. So thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for
keep
the
them
support.
coming.
Keep them coming. So head over to our website, siblingsincrime.com, and that's where you can contact us. It's really easy. Send a quick message. We love it. It was so fun.
Yeah. I was like, we got a submission or whatever.
I'm like, is it Brett?
Yeah, she was like, yeah, it's probably Brett. I'm like, no, someone else.
An actual human being that we don't know.
Yeah.
So that was really cool for us.
Yeah.
Super fun. So the more the merrier. That helps us know what you find interesting and what you want us to deep dive into.
Yes.
So, love it. So excited. Well, Blake, this case may sound
confusing.
A little repetitive almost, actually. And that's because it is. Because this poor woman could not catch a break. She is just getting tormented left and right.
It's about one lady getting tormented.
Yes.
Poor girl.
And she cannot catch a break, like I said. And so every detail matters, though, in order for you to make up your mind on what truly happened to Sydney James. So there is so much to get into. As always, Hannah freaking rocks for getting our research all together. She actually listened to an audiobook called Death by Unknown Event by Danielle Elliot, which she got a lot of this information from. So
Dang.
She rocks, listening to audiobooks and all.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
I know. She's the real deal.
She sounds like Ashley Flowers.
Yeah. So she's out there doing the journalist work. So Hannah, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
And this case is going to be so intriguing. So you ready for us?
I'm ready.
Well, it's the spring of 1990. 5 jurors in a coroner's court are tasked with determining the cause of death for an unfortunate death that occurred nearly a year before. They would hear testimony from family members, police, and experts. For weeks, evidence has been presented in hopes of determining what happened to this woman. She was found dead in the backyard of an abandoned home. And for nearly a decade, she was the victim of threatening phone calls, damage to her home, and personal attacks. After weeks of hearing testimony and seeing evidence, the jury returned with a verdict. This is the sad and terrifying story of Sydney James. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll. Well, let's start with Cynthia Elizabeth Heck, or as we know later on, Sydney James. She was born on June 22nd, 1944 in Oliver, British Columbia.
Whoa.
We got a Canadian up in here.
Yeah.
She was the second oldest child of her parents, Matilda, who goes by Tilly, which I think is so cute. Little Tilly, and her husband's Otto. I'm like, those are the coolest, like, old person names.
I like Otto's a Canadian name.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
OTTO. That's so
I just
cool.
remember, what was that show called? I don't remember what the show was called, but it was all these skater kids, and one of the guys' name was Otto and Twister.
Rocket Power?
Rocket Power.
That was such a good cartoon.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't remember the names, though.
Remember when they skated with Tony Hawk?
Yeah. Wow, we need to bring that show. No one talks about that show.
I know.
On TikTok, you get all those, like, throwback videos, you know, and I feel like Rocket Power was never on it. It should be. Well.
Oh, no, it's always on it? The PE
The
balloon, parachute thing?
Yeah, for sure. The parachute and, like, the little things that you slide around on in PE. That's true. Well, Otto was a former English teacher and a colonel in the Canadian Air Force. So growing up, Otto was strict. He was stern. He was a disciplinarian. He was the type that you imagine all the military guys are like.
So charming.
Yeah, super charming. Some of the kids would say that one punishment that they had to endure was eating dinner by themselves at the bottom of the basement stairs when they were being bad. So they were like,
Doesn't sound that
he's
bad.
probably like, you're so annoying. Go sit at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably how most parents wish that they.
That'd probably
their
hurt
kids.
me. It'd probably be good for you. You'd be like, all right.
All right, sweet. I like being alone.
Yeah.
True.
I'd be like, you hate me.
Why is no one sitting next to me?
I know.
So
Oh,
true.
I need people.
You love being around people.
Yeah.
Well, just before Sydney was to graduate from high school, her father received word that he was going to be moving to a new military base. So they're leaving Ottawa, and they were headed to
Otto from Ottawa.
Otto from Ottawa. Yeah, I never noticed that. That's funny. And they were headed to France.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sydney, on the other hand, was like, absolutely not. I'm like so close to graduating high school, can't be leaving my friends. And in fact, she wanted to go to university in Canada.
Damn.
So, yeah. And it cracks me because her dad was so traditional. He was like, women don't need education above high school. He was that guy. Sydney was not for that, and she decided she was going to go become a nurse. She was like, I'm going to join this nursing program. So they actually let her stay behind. She finished high school. She's going to become a nurse. And it's funny because he's so traditional and doesn't think women should have an education. But then he's like, oh, a nurse? That's a very woman career. Go do it. And then all of a sudden he became supportive that she would go on to become a nurse,
Yeah.
which cracks me up. It's like, that's so the 60s.
Yeah. She's smart. She used his beliefs against him.
Yeah. But don't you think women are nurses? He's like, you're
right.
Exactly. So in 1962, Cindy moved to Vancouver.
I just realized how smiley I was just now, and I'm like, this is gonna look so weird on camera.
You're like so excited.
Yeah.
You're right. So much force behind that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, she moved to Vancouver, and she had some family over there, so she was close to some extended family.
Why did she go to Vancouver? Oh, after school.
College.
Yeah. I was thinking in high school, I'm like, why'd they move? And she's like, I'm not moving. I'm going to Vancouver.
You guys moved to France? I'm going to Vancouver. I'll finish high school in 3 months. Yeah, no, so she went over there to start her schooling. While her family was in France, Cindy would go and visit for holidays or whatever, but so it doesn't sound like she's like in terrible, like her relationship's fine enough, like she's still visiting them. But this was odd to me. On one holiday, she was visiting, and this is when she tells her family that she was dating an intern who had become, they became engaged. While they were engaged, the young man found out that he had terminal cancer. She told her family that they had gone for a ski trip, and while on that trip, her fiance committed suicide.
What the freak?
Yeah, saying that there was no hope for his future, which is so heartbreaking. And she had never told her family that she was ever dating anybody. She never said who this guy's name was. So that's just like a weird side story of like, how close was she with her family? Like, this is the first time they're hearing about them, and also this is a bizarre story.
I'm kind of sketched out by her.
Yeah, that first story, right off the bat, I'm like confused. And that's why I'm telling you every little detail that we know, because it's all going to become relevant when, at the end of part 2, when you have to tell me what the heck happened to this woman. Well,
Okay.
when Cindy started her last year in her nursing program, this is when she met a postgraduate fellow from South Africa. His name was Roy Makepeace. Roy was nearly a foot taller than her and almost twice her age. I feel like every case we do. Ooh, you like that.
I'm just kidding. She probably likes
A
that.
foot taller and twice her age. That's hot.
She probably likes that.
I feel like every story we do, the guy's like 30 years older than her.
I know.
That's happened a lot.
Maybe
recently.
that's an issue.
Maybe that's a big. Well, I would think so.
Double her age is one thing. You know, a couple years.
Yeah.
Is not
Oh,
bad.
okay. Sydney was 21 and he was 39. So they're almost 20 years apart.
Wait, what?
Sydney's 21, so almost 20. And he's 39, so almost 40.
Oh, okay.
So almost 20 years.
Yeah, I heard 29 and 31. I was like, wait a second. That's
Yeah,
not even close.
They are so far.
Bad math.
Yeah, I really am bad at math. Well, I know. I feel like if they were both older, I feel like 50 and 70 is like not as extreme, but like 20 and 40, that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Maybe people can make it happen. But
people do all the time.
so then you're thinking, oh, Roy must be a charmer, must be such a good man. Well, Roy is married with children.
Happens a lot, I guess, in these stories.
And I don't like that at all.
I know.
So don't cheat on your spouse because you never know if you're going to be a victim. Well, Roy's wife also worked at the same hospital as Sydney and Roy. So the three of them were just going about the hospital, doing their duties, and they're all out and about.
Sounds like a hospital.
I know, that's so cliche, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would meet at a local motel for months. That is until a coworker caught them giving a little smooch goodbye. And I don't know if this coworker went and told the wife or told Roy he needs to tell the wife. Either way, wife finds out, and within a few months, she's filing for divorce. Which, good on for the coworker to do something about that. I feel like very commonly people try to keep that kind of stuff just to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a flight a couple flights ago, and this flight attendant was like kept coming up and like gossiping with the captain, and the captain's like, I don't know why she's telling me this. And,
That's so awkward.
And she's like, I'm not gossipy, but this is what's happening.
That's what gossip people always say. Gossipers always start with, I don't want to say anything, but.
And it was so funny.
So cliche. That's so on brand.
Yeah.
So maybe don't spread everyone's business. However, if it's about a relationship, maybe it's helpful if you tell at least Roy to tell his wife or something, you know. Mm-hmm. Either way, this is bizarre because once the divorce is finalized, 3 days later, Roy and Sydney are getting married. Marriage, complete like a civil ceremony. Mm-hmm. That's bizarre. Only 3 days, but I guess they were dating that whole time.
But then it's like, is he gonna go do this again?
That's how I feel. I feel like once cheater, always cheater. Like, how do you gain that trust back?
Because it's like, now she's 40, and he's like, maybe I'll go
maybe I'll find a 20-year-old again.
31-year-old.
Yeah, true. Good point.
I don't like 31. That was random.
You're like, my age. No, so they, surprisingly, Cindy only invited her brother to the wedding to be a witness. Like, none of the other family knew. Like
Otto wouldn't have been happy.
Yeah, Otto would have been pissed.
That is not traditional.
Correct. You're so on point about that.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that she was dating anyone until a few days before the wedding, and that's when they found out that she was even getting married. So that's why I'm like, are their relationship good or is it bad? I can't tell. Obviously, if you're not inviting your family, it is kind of last minute, but regardless, she ended up only inviting her brother, and once Otto and his family finished their duty in France, they actually moved back to Canada, and they settled in Victoria, which is about 3 hours from Sydney. So now they're kind of all within the same range, so like maybe that will help their relationship, but regardless, whatever, just kind of odd. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about Roy, good old Roy. He was studying to become a board-certified psychiatrist, which I'm always like, psychiatrist and like, I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't go along with your cheating on your spouse and stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, when I hear about certain, I mean, I guess everything's different. Like, you can probably help someone through their problems, but, you probably need someone to help you through yours.
I mean, I always hear that, like, the people who go and take therapy and stuff are the ones usually that had to go through therapy for things.
Yeah, but I also have seen some people, I'm like, I probably wouldn't go to them for advice. People I know.
Yeah, that's true.
That are therapists, but.
Yeah, so, I mean, just because it interests you doesn't mean that you're great at it. So he started teaching, well, this is a prime example, in fact. He started teaching sociology at the university where he had studied.
Teaching?
Yeah, he was teaching.
I heard teasing.
Oh, he was teasing sociology.
He's like, guys, you should do it.
You should do this. So while he was teaching, he was trying to pass this oral test in order to become a psychiatrist, and he failed 3 times. Like, he could not pass this test.
It's all right. Keep trying.
He doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like, okay, after 3 failed a test, he decided to move on, and he ended up becoming an acting head of the sociology department. So he was doing that for a while. After deciding that this was not for him, he became director of health services at a local power company. So he made a big shift.
Yeah.
Seems like he's like,
midlife crisis.
Yeah, he's like, this ain't working. On to the next. Mm-hmm. Cindy, however, was working at a local hospital for children with special needs. And she and Roy at this time were both working in individual fields. They ended up buying a house together. They also bought a boat. And they, like, loved hosting. They had people on their boat all the time. Despite, like, Sydney was not a big boat girl, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. She was through and through a gardener.
Yeah. Our boat sold.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Reed sold it.
Oh, that works out.
Yeah. The other one's getting here in March or April, I think.
That's exciting. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't huge on the boats. I know you're a sucker for boats. But she was a gardener. No matter where she was, she had a garden. She had to be gardening at all times. Roy and Cindy's marriage
I wish I liked gardening. I feel like that'd be so peaceful.
That'd be so cool. I know, and just being able to like that's gotta be the most satisfying thing is like you're eating from your own garden. You're like,
Yeah.
mom was like obsessed with that. She started
Yeah.
gardening and she's like, look at my tomato. You know,
Yeah,
that
that's
does
why I want to
something.
sew is because I like want to create something and wear it
You should do
one
it.
day. I
You need to
am.
get more into it
I'm
though.
working on it.
Okay, that's true.
I follow this guy. Anyways, keep going.
All right. Well, Roy and Sydney's marriage was to her younger sister at least, like Melanie. She thought that they had like the prime marriage. Like she looked up to it. She wanted it for her own marriage. They were so lovey-dovey. Your biggest fear. I feel like you're so anti lovey-dovey couples. You like make fun of me and Brett if we love each other. We're married. I was like, let us be in love.
I don't make fun of you.
Yeah. But so they were like lovey-dovey. They looked like a prime relationship, what everyone wants. Around this time, Cindy took a position at a newly opened day home for children who had issues and challenges at home. I've like never heard of this. It's called Blenheim or
Well, it's probably because it's in
Blenheim.
Vancouver.
Well, I'm sure there's other places like around here.
Oh.
It's called Blenheim Home. And Cindy excelled here. This was like her place to be. She was thriving here. She worked there for over a decade and she was always providing love and support to the children and the coworkers. Like everyone that knew her loved her and was obsessed. She was like the one that people went to for advice, like all the things. She even brought her dog Heidi to work with her every day. And so people like extra ate that up, you know?
Yeah.
I would always bring her dog Molly to like show and tell. And like kids would love that when elementary school. Well, in 1975, 3 years after starting at Blenheim House, Cindy became the director.
Damn.
And yeah, as time moved towards the 80s, Blenheim House became like super well known. It was like the place to help children. So she's probably in like the prime of her life. She's married, they have a house, a boat, she's killing it at her job. That is until 1981 or 82, things began to shift. Until, dun dun dun. A coworker of Sydney's was out and about downtown with her husband when she saw. You're gonna guess?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Roy
with a 20-year-old.
Roy with his arm around someone else.
A guy.
That's a girl. That'd have been crazy. With someone else who was not Sydney, though. Woman's a cheater, always a cheater.
Maybe it's his sister.
And he just has his arm around her all lovey-dovey. I sure hope we're not doing that in public. No, thank you. She didn't want to confront Roy, and she also didn't want to talk to Sydney about her personal life. I guess Sydney had like serious boundaries about like talking about personal relation things. I don't know.
Maybe she's okay with it.
I mean, maybe. So the coworker never said anything. Very different from the last coworker they had.
Yeah.
But over the next few years, her coworkers noticed she had not been herself anymore. She was starting to become much more quiet, very reserved. And so everyone's kind of thinking that she started to suspect or find out that Roy was being unfaithful. Mm-hmm. Sydney and Roy, this is really what gave it away, after 16 years of marriage, decided to separate. It was like a trial separation where they weren't going to finalize divorce. They're kind of like feeling it out. Mm-hmm. So Sydney moved out during this time. You kind of notice a common theme with Cindy. She's very good at maintaining relationships with her exes. Like, even though they're kind of on the brink of divorce, they were still on good terms. They would meet up like once a week. They would still hang out. Like, he helped her move into a new place that they liked. So she rented a main floor of a house and set up a little garden in the backyard. And then she had like a guy that was living in the basement who was like the homeowner type. Mm-hmm. Sydney's sister, Melanie, said that she loved to work in the garden. She loved to see things thrive and grow, and that was kind of her safe haven. So, no, it was on October 7th.
I feel like it would drive me crazy how long it takes things to grow, though.
True. Well, some things go pretty fast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a good point. And especially because you eat it probably so quickly, you're like, dang, now it's going to take another whole season to grow anything else.
Yeah.
So, it was on October 7th, 1982. The first call occurred. It said,
call to who?
Sydney.
Oh.
It said, quote, "You're dead, Cindy. Don't think about pulling the drapes. That it means that I know you're not there. Why don't you start undressing?" Weird. Okay.
This just sounds confusing.
This call was followed by another unsettling call. It says, "I'll get you one night, Cindy." And at this time, prank calls are in their prime. Everyone's prank calling these days. Star 6, 7, whatever it is.
I bet
And
they don't have star 6 7
yeah, they
back
probably don't
then.
have that stuff. That was
They
so
probably
fun
have you
though.
have caller ID probably, so you don't know who's calling anyways.
Yeah, they probably had it on the wall with the
Yeah.
little spinner guy. True. And the
Like who's
huge cord.
speaking?
Who's speaking? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so they probably don't call her ID. So this time she's probably not thinking much of it. She's probably thinking people are pranking her or whatever. Except she ended up receiving 5 of these calls of like the same nature, like kind of threatening. Yeah.
Same voice, or does he like manipulate his voice?
It sounds like it's like this coming from the same person. She ignored the calls until the following night when this is so weird that someone had entered her backyard and yelled, "Where's Jimbo?" Okay, I would be like, prank.
Yeah.
That's a child. Like, that is so weird. And I don't know any significance. I was like, Hannah, surely this means something. Who is Jimbo?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Maybe that means something back in the day.
If you're from the 60s, Mom, let us know if Jimbo means anything to you.
She's like, yeah, it means
Yeah, I thought that was so bizarre. It's
I'm
like,
coming after you.
it wasn't the fact that he said, obviously, where's Jimbo? It's more that she was unsettled that somebody was in her backyard.
Yeah.
Which that would freak me out. No matter what they say, I'd be like, holy crap, someone's in my backyard.
Yeah.
Sydney
One
was,
time the people that set up our lights were like fixing something and it was like 11 p.m.
or Christmas lights.
Yeah, Christmas lights. And I was like, what is that noise? And I'm like, why are there people on the side of the house?
Why is somebody on top of
I'm
my
like,
roof?
oh my gosh, they're fixing the lights at 11 p.m.
One of my favorite stories with our friends is that we had friends that were, one of our friends bought a house, living by himself.
Oh yeah,
And
I just saw him yesterday
at the gym. I saw him at the gym too. And his friends were like teasing him for months, like jumping on his roof, like freaking him out. He was so scared. He got security cameras. He got a gun, not knowing his friends the whole time. Anyways, they didn't tell him for like a year. And I'm like, I would
He's
be
just living in fear.
Yeah, and like he's not telling his friends. He's just like secretly scared. Like that's terrifying.
Living in pain.
I know. But I think that's so funny. But you gotta be careful with those kind of pranks.
Yeah.
I mean, he bought a gun, so you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, he's like, I bought a gun. You're like, I'm not
Oh,
going
prank.
back.
Yeah, seriously. Well, Sydney was on edge, so hearing this freaked her out, and so she had called the RCMP. Remember what that stands for?
Yeah.
What?
Royal Canadian what was it? RCMP?
Yeah.
Mounted Police.
Nice, good job. Yep.
I know.
When that came up, I was like, oh yes, we just talked about this. And she told them on the phone that she's been getting all these like calls that have been really weird, that someone was in her backyard. And the police told her to take notes of when the caller was calling and like what they were saying. A few hours later, she received another call that said, quote, "You effing B word, I'll get you." I was like, ugh. Over time, these calls started to grow closer together and in severity, saying, "So you think calling the police will keep you safe? Just you wait." So it's like, they know intimate details. I'm like, how do you know they're calling the cops? How do you know anything? Sydney noted that there were 9 of these calls between October 7th and October 14th. So pretty back to back.
All right, quick break from the case. Because if you've ever looked up at a plane and thought, I wonder what it's like to actually fly one, this is for you. Today's episode is brought to you by Simply Fly Flight School, a local flight school right here in Arizona that makes learning to fly simple, fast, and actually affordable. Simply Fly offers discovery flights where you can get in a real plane with a certified flight instructor, take the controls, and experience what it's like to be an actual pilot. No experience needed, just show up and enjoy. And for our listeners, you can get $10 off your discovery flight when you book through simplyflyco.com. Whether you're checking off a bucket list item, thinking about becoming a pilot, or just want the coolest experience you'll have all year, this is it. Head to simplyflyco.com, book your discovery flight, and use podcast discount to save $10. Now back to true crime. So we ran out of storage, and so now we are starting from where we left off.
Yeah, cut our video short, big time short.
Yes.
So now I'm looking at where we left off.
And you see something weird in the last video. I'm rubbing my foot because it hurts.
I was like, okay, maybe we should clarify. On the 15th, Sydney had gone out to run some errands, and when she got home, she noticed that the back door was open and it looked like a rock had been thrown through the window. So any
Jeez.
normal person, right? You stay outside, you call the cops, get someone to walk through.
Yes.
Not this brave girl.
She's not scared.
She's not scared. Well, I'm sure she's scared. But she goes in,
Never
takes
scared.
inventory. She's looking around the house, seeing if anything's taken, seeing if anything was amiss besides Literally her front door also
I'll
being
handle
unlocked.
this later.
Yeah, I'll handle this later. I'm gonna go back out for some errands.
Yeah.
She
Oh, I forgot the meat.
Yeah. She locks her house back up, went out for some more errands. Coming back a second time, she goes in her room, notices someone must have been there because her pillow had been slashed in half. Everything's
Jeez.
cut up. At this point, now
That'd
she's
be
taking it
spooky.
more serious.
Yeah.
So she calls the cops and lets them know, one, they should have broken a couple hours ago. This is the second break-in, and now it looks more violent because they're cutting up her pillows and such. Oh my gosh. I just don't know how she just was so nonchalant the first time someone broke in the same day.
Yeah.
Well,
And maybe the person was in the house when she
oh
was
my
there.
gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like she did a walkthrough, but yeah, someone's hiding and then just come right back out and slash her pillows.
That's spooky.
I hate that thought. I
I
can't.
always think when a murderer or like a burglar breaks in, and like just like the jump scare when they like break in is like, what do you think? It
We
scared
talk
me
about this
too.
all the
I
time.
know.
Like, I mean, obviously, if you're gonna kill someone, you're probably in a whole different mindset. But like, jump scaring people is the funniest thing.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. Just kidding.
No, for real. Oh my gosh. So she gets the police involved, and the two police officers are partners. One's name is Patrick or Pat McBride. The other is Andy Richards. And Cindy walked him through the house, told him what was going on, and Pat seemed eager to jump on this case, you could say.
Pat said, "I'll do anything to protect my citizens.
My citizen, I am at your service.
My one citizen."
Yeah, only you, citizen.
Yeah.
The next day, Pat told Annie that they're going to go get some donuts, they're going to get some coffee, and they're going to Cindy's. And they got into their routine. Every day, Pat was wanting to go get donut, coffees, go to Cindy's.
Jeez.
I was like, honey, that's a little excessive.
Yeah, literally protect his citizen.
With this singular citizen.
Yeah.
He would only do patrols in her neighborhood. It was getting a little too obsessed with this case. And it was getting to the point that it was bothering Andy. Andy was right out of the academy. He was fresh meat. He wanted to go do some real superhero work.
Yeah. It's like, I want to arrest
Bad
bank
guys.
robbers. And
Yeah. Seriously.
stop murderers, not stalk
Watch
out
this lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Pat was the senior partner. He had been in the force for about 20 years. And he's like, nah, this is where we need to spend our time.
Yeah.
He said, I only want to stay in Cindy's neighborhood every day for the rest of my life.
Jeez.
Yeah. So what could Andy do? I mean, I'm sure he mentioned it, but this is all that they did. And for 2 weeks, they did the same thing. And then Pat broke the news to Andy. Pat himself was moving in to Cindy's house.
He's taking his job seriously.
I mean, if you want to call it that. I guess at the time he was getting a divorce, and so he needed a place to stay. Cindy had a place to rent. Kind of was a win-win for them. She had in-house security at this point.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing Pat was all innocent, thinking just a roommate, but he went right to work. I mean, he started putting deadbolts in on all the doors. He was taking his part in being a security guard around the house.
Making sure everyone's safe.
He's like, I am the man and I will catch this creep.
Yeah.
Well, he was also informed that a lady 2 houses down had also received weird calls. And on top of that, people were seeing strange men in the alleyway behind their houses. Sounds like they had like the garage that leads to the alleyway where they all take the trash can out that direction. And so people have noticed maybe strange behavior back there. So it leads him to believe that this guy is around. Maybe he is harassing other people. So he's like...
He's up to no good.
Yeah, so he's like, Cindy, time to change your phone number and keep you not listed on anything.
Yeah.
So she does. And he even actually put a track or whatever, like put whatever on her phone so that they can be traced if she got a phone call. And he did that, and they actually got a little
they could
pin.
do that back in the day.
I know. That's some serious detective work.
Yeah.
So they did that, and they actually had the phone pinned to a neighborhood, but not a specific address. And it's not like they knew anyone in this neighborhood, so it meant nothing to them. Like this, it led to no leads. But Pat had a theory. Any guesses?
The husband.
It's always the husband, right? Roy Makepeace, her soon-to-be ex-husband, even worse. So one night
True.
we're on patrol. Pat and Andy, poor Andy, he's like, every day I'm in this neighborhood. They're on patrol
It's
around
like I should have
Cindy's
been a
house.
firefighter.
I know. My mom was right. So they're doing what they can, right, to protect Cindy. And they actually found ex-husband Roy sitting there in his car with a handgun, a rifle, and a knife.
Jeez.
I was like, that's some
That's a
weaponry.
lot. Yeah. Handgun, a rifle, and his knife.
All of it. Yep.
No rope or anything?
No rope.
Okay.
Ooh, yep, no rope. Yeah, so they found him, and so of course they go and confront him. And Pat off the bat goes, "By the way, I'm living with Cindy." And that is so funny to me. It's like nothing gets under a guy's skin like that, I feel like. So Pat tells Roy that he is going to be protecting Cindy from now on. Pat goes on to tell him, Roy, ex-husband, goes on to tell him that he also is trying to protect Sydney. He's doing patrols right now. He's also looking out to make sure no one is harassing her. Like, that's why he has all these weapons.
These Canadians are so nice.
They're so nice.
They're so friendly. They
That
just
must
want
be-
to protect her.
Yeah, with a handgun, a rifle, and a knife. They're really handling it the proper way. So Roy tells Pat to go home. He said, "We got it from here. Let the cops do their job." And he leaves. But now that confirms Pat's suspicion. He's like, it's Roy. He's the stalker. So they brought in their patrol all the way from Roy's house in West Side to Cindy's house on the East Side. Yeah. Yippee!
And he's like, at least we're going somewhere else.
I know. At least we're going 2 neighborhoods down.
Yeah.
So that was as broad as they went. And that's basically it. That was their police work day in and day out because Pat was becoming obsessed with maybe Sydney, maybe her situation, or both. For Andy, this was becoming too much. He's like, okay,
I'm out.
time to switch it up.
Yeah.
So he actually went to the supervisor and told him how they're not doing anything productive. He wants a new assignment, a new partner. But that request got denied.
Oh, that'd be a bummer.
I know. He's like, now it's awkward if it gets back to Pat that I want a new partner. Well, despite that, Andy didn't have to deal with this entire situation. Andy didn't have to deal with that situation for much longer. A month after moving in, even though you think that everything's happy with Cindy and Pat, Cindy asked Pat to move out. I'm unsure why, because I feel like she probably felt a lot more security having Pat in the house. But it did seem as though their friendship had taken off a little bit further. And maybe that's why she felt uncomfortable with him being in the house. Despite that, he found a new place to live, and they stayed friendly, as you expect. They still went on dates, and they still were seeing each other regularly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cindy cracks me up because she breaks up with a guy, and she's like, yeah, we can hang out every week still. So she's been hanging out with him. Seems like they kind of stayed together. They would even go on double dates with Roy and his new girlfriend.
Dang.
That is so weird to me. I'm like, one, that's your ex-husband. 2.
But Roy's trying to protect her too.
Yeah, but rumor has it that Roy and Pat are like not in cahoots, but they're both trying to work together when they're on these dates together.
Solving the crime.
Yeah, they're bouncing off theories. They're thinking about what could be going on. And I'm like, Pat, you have been openly accusing Roy of being the stalker, and now you're just having lunch and hanging out in the same circle.
Yeah, he's like, well, it's better to be close to your enemies than
keep your enemies close. Yeah, evidently. I was like, this is odd behavior to me. Cindy and Roy were 6 months into their trial separation at this point, but even after they got divorced, Cindy and Roy would still see each other pretty regularly. He would just stop by whenever he wanted. And that same month, police found Roy circling Cindy's neighborhood again in the middle of the night. And he told them the same thing. He's out here to protect Cindy. They told him once again to go home. This is their job. But they were no closer to finding who was doing all this tormenting, if you want to say. Soon, Cindy would even be receiving collages of magazine words and pictures cut out. It'd say things like, us, you, rotten love, hot, sex, pain, life. That's weird. I was like, who's cutting up
a girl.
A girl?
Yeah, only girls cut out magazines.
What if they just don't want their handwriting to be recognized?
Yeah. Use a typewriter.
Yeah, typewriter back in the 80s.
Yeah, like vision boards, girls always cut out words and letters
You think
from
they were
magazines.
doing that back then too, vision boards?
Yes, and I
Yes.
feel like it's a girl.
Okay, well, you think it's
She's jealous or she's in love with her as well.
She is
Because
like
girls are
all.
way more jealous.
That's true. Think she's in love with Roy or Sydney
Sydney.
or Pat? Cindy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
It's her best friend. Dun dun dun. No, so she would even get pictures cut out of like a woman from a magazine that kind of looks like her, and it would be like slashed on the neck with red pin, making it look like blood dripping down.
Jeez.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
The light bulb would be
Sounds like a
slightly
girl.
unscrewed, just enough.
Petty.
Just a girl
Just
too.
girl stuff.
Just so the light wasn't on when she got home.
Yep.
Okay, that seems like odd behavior. You think that she would recognize the voice?
A guy wouldn't think to be like, oh, I'm gonna make her nervous when she gets home. I'm gonna unscrew the light bulb.
Because girls always know we're always scared if it's dark.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, tell me if you still think that by the end of this.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess from January 1983 to her death in 1989, Cindy would experience around 80 minor events like this and 12 major events.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So minors like
ton.
unscrewing the light bulb?
Unscrewing the
Letters.
light bulb, yeah, letters, calling, those type of things. 12 major is like this. So the first major event happened when Cindy was in her own garage on January 28th, 1983. She had been going back and forth between her garage, and she had left the light on. And when she came back, she realized that the light was now off, and she knows she did not turn it off.
Okay.
She turned to
One
leave.
of the 80.
What?
I said one of the 80.
Yeah, seriously.
Just kidding.
Until she turned to leave when she was grabbed from behind, and a man with a deep voice told her to shut up.
Okay, maybe it's not a girl.
Unless she's a very manly woman.
Yeah.
Cindy had a friend, Agnes, who was planning on coming by like in 15 or 20 minutes or so.
Is it not Agnes?
I don't think Agnes is a big manly woman,
Yeah,
but what do I know?
Yeah.
So she was planning on coming by in the next few minutes. So Cindy had been thinking,
That's lucky.
yeah, I just gotta last this long, right? But when Agnes got there, Cindy didn't answer the door. So she went around back thinking maybe she's in her garden. That's like typically where you can find Cindy. And she wasn't there. So she knocked on the back door with no response. So she's trying to do anything to find Cindy. As she's knocking, she heard a low moan. She found Cindy lying in the stairwell leading to the basement. She was struggling to breathe, and her blouse was shredded with one sleeve and the whole back ripped off.
Jeez.
Her socks and jeans were soaked and wet with blood. Around her neck was a black nylon stocking, so tight that Agnes couldn't get her finger underneath it.
Jeez.
She went and banged on the basement door to get help from the person living downstairs. The neighbor grabbed a knife and was able to cut the stocking from Cindy's neck. They saw scratches all over her and a 10-inch cut above one of her ankles, which seemed to be the source of where the blood was coming from. So quickly, they called 911.
So the cut was like up and down? So
I
like cut down her
10
ankle.
inches around is more
like
than
all the way around her ankle.
twice. Yeah, so up and down, probably up her calf.
Jeez.
Which is such a weird spot.
I feel like that'd be someone like trying to get you, and then you're running somewhere, and they like get your ankle.
They like trip.
Yeah, they're like falling down, and your ankle's going like.
Yeah, that's true. Because it seems like that. I feel like that cut would do nothing, like unless you don't want them to run, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like
It's
he
not
said,
like
"Don't
fatal.
run." She started running, and he like grabbed her, and he's like, "I told you not to run."
Yeah.
While he was cutting her.
Maybe.
He doesn't want to kill her. It doesn't sound like.
It doesn't. I mean, the nylon stocking, what sounds like the most that he wants to kill her.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously he left before he found out if she was dead.
That's true.
Just seems so odd. So when the police... Or she, I suppose. When the police arrived, she told them that she had been in the middle of packing up her living room, which Cindy was actually planning on moving back to her old house, like Roy's house that they shared. Because Roy thought it'd be more safe for Cindy if she went back to that house where maybe the stalker didn't know she was there. So he was planning on moving out. So it's not like they were going to live together, but Cindy was moving back to their original home. And she was planning on moving back February 1st. So she's packing up her living room, getting everything ready. She went back and forth between the detached garage and the grabbing boxes.
He must just be always following her, because how do you know where the other house is? And there's like no social media. You can't like find her that way.
Unless he's literally outside her house watching her and like following her driving.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know like that?
Or she's close to him.
Like she talks
he's
to
close
him.
to her.
Yeah. So like he's
And like one of the
he can hear like he's part of those conversations in the circle. That's creepy.
Maybe another tracker or something.
Ooh,
Listening
creepy.
devices in the house. Maybe that's when he broke into her house, put listening devices in the house.
Ew, creepy.
Yeah.
I hate that thought.
Or maybe it's the cop. Maybe it's Andy.
Andy,
And he's like, we need to stop. We need to stop patrolling this area.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get caught anytime now.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, so she was going like back and forth, like I said, when she felt a pinprick in her right shoulder. Odd.
A blow dart.
A blood, like in Madagascar.
Yeah. Maybe that's why she passed out.
Yeah, it sounded like she tried to get away for a while, but maybe it took a little bit to trigger. Yeah, because from what we have, it doesn't seem like he injected her with anything. It seems like an odd thing to just prick somebody. Well, police found blood in the stairwell where Cindy was found, obviously. Also blood on the moving boxes. And oddly enough, the only place that blood was in the house was in the bathroom sink.
He was cleaning off.
I feel like it's rare that attackers spend that much time. Like, surely it had been comfortable then to be seen around the house or spend extra time in the house.
Yeah. Or everything was closed. And he didn't want to go outside the house and have blood on his hands.
That's true. I was like, this looks worse if I leave right now.
Yeah. And maybe she'd already passed out from whatever he pricked her with. Like, all right, time to leave. My job is done.
That's crazy. Well, that was all the police could find. There was no fingerprints or other evidence that someone else was in the house, like that they could find. At this time in the 80s, I mean, they're really looking for fingerprints. Yeah. So it's not like they had a lot to go off of. Up until now, Cindy never had physical contact with her stalker. This was labeled as attempted murder.
Dang.
And at this point, Pat and Andy were off the case. They're like, okay, Pat, you're literally dating this person that you're supposed to be, like, dealing with their case. And I bet Andy was stoked out of his mind. He's like, finally, we're not patrolling the same neighborhood. Yeah. So that's why they were taken off the case. And it was turned over to a really seasoned detective. His name was Detective David Bowersmith. He seemed to be a little skeptical of the attack, though.
He said 1 and 2 just aren't adding up.
1 and 2 don't add to 3. Yeah, Cindy went to the station to make a statement, and her story changed a little bit, which seemed to be very common. I mean, that's not very abnormal when you're going through something traumatic.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that the detective didn't like. One, she said that she told detective that the needle print was in her left shoulder when she already told police it was in her right.
Easy thing to confuse when you just got pricked by something you passed out.
And you got a knife in your ankle and a nylon around your neck. Yeah, and then the other thing was none of her story made sense of why there'd be blood in the bathroom. Which I feel like that doesn't say much. I'm like, she was passed out. Of course she doesn't know what happened with the bathroom.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy knows more than us.
I mean, I'm sure. Detective, and we're just some random people. But so these things are like some of the reasons why he was pretty uncomfortable with her story. Mm-hmm. She said that for a moment she was able to briefly push the man away, but then she felt the knife being pressed against her back, saying, "You effing C word, keep quiet, don't make me cut you." Mm-hmm. She felt something being tied around her neck, that nylon stocking, and that she was having a difficult time breathing. The man then pushed her to the ground and whispered, it will take you a long time to die. He then caught her just above the ankle and left her there in the garage. So from that statement, leads me to believe that he thought that she was just going to bleed out there. Like, that's why he did, like, a weird cut. It seems like if you want someone to die, you wouldn't leave it up to chance if they survive.
Mm-hmm. Also, how does she not know what he looks like? He wearing a mask?
That's why she never mentions a mask, but maybe, I mean, whether she recognized him or not, at this point she hasn't given a, like, description of him or anything like that.
Because I feel like that would be an easy tell.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, that's like my neighbor.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, so evidently she either didn't recognize him, like, right away, or he had something to cover his identity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Obviously, stalkers are a lot more dangerous than we are led to believe, but I feel like rarely do they... Not rarely. It seems as though it's shocking that if he wanted her dead, he didn't kill her. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
It's just odd behavior.
It's odd behavior for sure. Yeah. And it kind of seems like he wanted to scare her, but keep her around because he wants to keep doing it. Like,
you think he just likes scaring her? Ew, that's disgusting. Those
Yeah,
people are
maybe
so
he
weird.
accidentally cut her, and he's like kind of worried that he was gonna kill her, and so he left.
He's like, you're gonna take a long time to die. Sorry.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's weird. Well, detective didn't
maybe he has
believe
some
her
weird
story.
thing with like sexual sadism to put things on their
Pain.
neck.
Ew.
Mm.
The detective Bowersmith's big thing, like I said, was the blood, and that um he like the blood in the bathroom, and he just decided that the only way that he was going to get the truth is a polygraph test, which is funny because is that the truth? Who knows? So he tells Cindy, let's do this, and she was on board. She's like, okay.
Yeah,
So 2 weeks after her attack, she comes back in, takes a test, and
unconclusive,
unconclusive.
inconclusive.
And she failed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she failed.
I wonder
So
what question she failed on.
I feel like they never give us that
Yeah,
information.
or maybe it's just like in general, like she's being decisive.
I
It doesn't matter which part.
I think typically it's on specific questions that you can see like where they're being not completely truthful. I don't have it in this specific case, but he's like, "Do you want to try again? You can come back in a week." And so she did. She came back a week later, took another test, and failed again. Yeah, it's not looking great for Cindy.
Maybe she
And
likes it. Never mind, that's mean to say.
okay. The examiner noted that he wasn't sure if she was just straight up lying or withholding the truth, because when you withhold information, it can also cause the polygraph to give you a failed test. So like maybe she knows more information than she's giving, but isn't directly lying. So when they spoke to Cindy about that, she started to cry right away, and she said that she thinks she knows who attacked her, but she didn't want to say his name. She said, well, she didn't want to say
Sounds weird.
who. She said she doesn't know his name, but she
Oh.
recognized him. But she's scared because she doesn't want to look like she's cooperating with police in fear that he's going to go after her family. But I'm already like, you're going in for polygraph test after polygraph test. If he's watching you closely, it looks like you're cooperating with the police. He has no idea what you're telling them. So I don't know if it's just like fear of telling her family or if she just doesn't know his name and can't really identify him, but he looks familiar, like she sees him sometimes. I don't know like how closely she says that she knows this man, but it seems as though if that's the case, that could be why she's had a failed test.
Maybe she's seen him before. I've seen a guy that kind of looks sketchy before, and it resembles the person that attacked her, like body wise. Because I just have a feeling the guy probably had a mask on. Because
Surely.
yeah, there's
Like, how
no
could you
way
not?
she's not gonna be able to like at least give him a description.
Yeah. And I feel like that's so.
Or it is the man that I see at the store every week.
Yeah, the cashier guy. Like I knew I
Yeah.
saw him somewhere. Right. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm sure at that point you just have so much fear. And we know eyewitness testimony is like the least reliable. So maybe she's like really worried that she's going to implement the wrong guy.
Yeah, but
It's like every
back in
guy
the
looks
day,
like this.
Back in the day, I feel like it was thought of as like the best.
That's true. At that time, they didn't really have all the data behind it. So obviously this detective was investigating the attack. And meanwhile, Cindy moved back to the home that her and Roy used to share together. And Roy had moved into like an apartment down the street. So they still don't live together, but she's back into this new place. And it didn't take long before she was receiving threatening letters again. She would get calls like, soon, bang, bang, you're dead. And stuff like that. I'm like, that is such a weird thing to tell somebody on the phone as a prank. I mean, obviously it doesn't seem like it's a prank anymore. But what a weird threat. They asked her if she felt scared. The lights on the front porch were smashed. Her garden lights were hosed down so they would burn out. Like, just weird,
Jeez.
annoying things.
That would be frustrating. It's like, I'm just trying to garden and live.
I know.
Yeah, you have to break everything.
So this was just like deja vu. She's like, I'm out of here. Her and Roy actually sold the house, and with her money, she went and bought a smaller house closer to work.
Oh.
She's like, I'm not telling really anybody. I'm moving over here
Yeah.
in hopes that maybe she can get a fresh start. But she didn't. She never. That's what I said in the beginning. Feels repetitive because she cannot catch a break.
Yeah.
For those around her, people thought that her and Pat, like the detective or the police officer, actually got along super well. Like he was still coming around at this point. It sounds like he,
Made her happy, but we're friends.
yeah, made her happy as friends. But he sounded like he was
Entertained her.
definitely a lot more romantically interested than her.
Yeah.
Like he would invite her on like long weekend cabin trips and stuff, and she's just trying to hang out like once a week every so
Yeah.
often.
She's like, I like you as a friend, but I don't want to.
She enjoyed his company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In little exchanges.
Yeah. Like
not
pass it.
not
Let's get
weeks.
lunch every so often.
Yeah. You don't annoy me enough to not see you, but you also annoy me too much to see you every day.
Exactly. And people thought that they looked happy enough, but in Cindy's journal around this time period, she wrote how it was frustrating to her that Pat was like obsessed with protecting her and not finding the stalker. Like his focus was on her solely, not the case.
Yeah.
And she had a really hard time with that because she felt unsafe. Like no one's going out there to go find the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's like great that he's trying to help her, but not in the way she needed.
She's like, I want you finding the guy, not protecting me.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to help. Because right when you're gone, he attacks.
Right. True. She's like, once you find him, have him behind bars, give me a call.
Yeah.
But until then, she wrote him a
You're
letter.
going to go 2 times a week.
Yeah, yay! Until then, she wrote him a letter actually saying, hey, can you like take a step back? He wrote her back saying,
Letters were back in the day or like text messages.
for sure.
It's like he sent an edgy text like, want to go to the cabin? He doesn't respond.
He's
It's like, dang it.
I know. He's like, I knew that was risky.
That was so stupid of me.
I
Why
know.
was I doing?
I shouldn't have put that many exclamation points.
I shouldn't have said love.
I know. Seriously. And so she didn't respond to him because so he wrote back and he said,
Oh, double texting.
or sorry, so he double texts her. First he responds and says, this somebody that's stalking you is completely obsessed with you. Like, maybe you should consider staying at my place. And that's the risky text he sent.
Oh, that's the risky one.
Yeah. And then she didn't respond.
He's full of risky texts.
And then, because she didn't respond, he sent another letter.
Then he sent an angry text.
He didn't send an angry text.
Oh.
He told her that his family motto was truth or virtue conquers danger, and that Pat believed that once he and Cindy can find the truth, they'll be able to put the stalker behind bars. And he signed it, with all my love. Cindy was like, okay, all this hoopla. Like, she is overwhelmed with Pat's infatuation at this point.
Yeah.
So she writes him, need space. I don't know if that's simple.
Please leave me alone.
Yeah. So he just seems over the top. And
Like,
it cracks
she
me up.
responded.
I know. That means she likes me. And it cracks me up because he's like, this stalker's obsessed with you. P.S. I'm obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Live with me again, please.
Yeah.
Just so ridiculous. And because she needed space, she did a smart move. She decided to fly out to Indonesia to go visit her brother who was stationed there. She was going to be there for 2 weeks. And it sounded like she had a wonderful time. People said she came back like she was revived and refreshed and that she was like almost getting back to her old self.
Should have stayed out there.
I know. I'm like, girl, move the countries.
Mm-hmm.
And she was feeling better a little bit, but she was still a little unsettled with what happened to her right before she went on vacation.
Ooh.
Around 4 a.m., about a day before she left, there was a tapping on her window. Woke her up. Outside was Roy, actually. Roy, ex-husband Roy.
At 4 a.m.?
At 4 a.m., knocking on her window, of all things.
Couldn't have used the door?
Couldn't have used the door.
Or gave her a call?
Literally any other thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's already on edge. Why are you knocking on her window?
Yeah,
I'd be
I know.
screaming. Immediately calling the cops. I don't even care who's outside. I'm calling the cops at that
same.
point. So with the window still up, he tells her that he had received 2 threatening calls and want to make sure she was all right.
He went over there. He could have called her over that.
I know. And not
Like,
even...
maybe she wouldn't have answered, but I don't know, maybe.
Or maybe he knocked on the door and she didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's like, are you in there?
Or just peek in and be like, all right, she's good. I can go.
Yeah, I
Why
don't
is he
know.
like, maybe she's dead in her bed?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know. And Cindy's like, okay, come back tomorrow and we can talk. What are you doing here at 4 in the morning? Roy said that he was excited to hear about her vacation plans and that, like...
Roy kind of seems like a guy. He knows he messed up cheating on her and wants her back.
Yeah, he's
Just
like
doing everything he can.
still trying to like be really protective over her and such.
Yeah, messed up.
Yeah. He even suggested that when she returned, maybe Cindy moved back in with him. I was like, damn, we got Roy, we got Pat. Everyone's like, move in with me. And I'm honestly surprised she doesn't because she would probably feel safer. Like, that's what they're all saying. It's probably true.
Yeah.
At least get a roommate or anything.
She has a roommate downstairs.
I mean,
That's the other one.
Yeah, she moved now, so she's not with anyone now.
Yeah.
So Cindy was like, hey, honey, that ain't never going to happen. And she wrote in her diary that night that, like, when Roy left, she heard him mutter, "You'll be sorry."
Jeez.
I was like, okay, now, Roy, you're actually creeping me out.
Roy, you're not very mature.
Why are you making, like, threats about her moving in with you? You obviously screwed up. She's not moving back in with you.
Yeah.
August 23rd, 1983, the day after Cindy returned from her vacation, the secretary from her job at the Blenheim house discovered a letter for Cindy. So now these magazine cut letters are coming to her work, not just her house. And it says, like, the same type of threat, and it's, like, bloody and that kind of stuff.
Maybe it's a girl and a guy. The girl's doing they're both obsessed with her.
Okay.
And so the girl
That's
is cutting all this stuff up, making the letters, and the guy is doing all the
Hilarious.
threatening stuff.
Ew, creepy. She's like, I'll do the creative part.
Yeah, she's like, I'm creative. You're the
You're the man.
brute. Yeah, you're the man.
You're the brute.
Yeah. And our teamwork.
Well, at this point, Cindy's kind of thinking maybe it's a coworker that's messing with her. Like, why is it coming to work now? So she actually, like...
Maybe because you can't find her house.
Yeah, maybe. But he ends up finding the house.
Yeah. Wow.
But she ends up, like, hiding
good idea,
at
though.
work. True. Trying to see, like, if any of her coworkers are, like, leaving her a letter in her little box or anything. And no one showed up. She didn't see anything. And so she's thinking that maybe it was a fluke. But the next day, a letter again showed up. So the police were starting to think that maybe these letters were from a disgruntled parent of a former child that Cindy had worked with at this like home that she works at. Because some of the families they worked with ended up in court due to domestic violence. Yeah, Cindy and other coworkers would have to go and testify and say, like, yeah, this parent is abusing their child and whatnot. So, like, it's got to be, like, somebody who's mad that they got their child taken or whatnot. But at the same time, they're kind of surprised because Cindy's not working with these kids one-on-one. It's like the school, and, like, when they go to trial, it's like her and, like, multiple coworkers. So singling her out would be very odd behavior because no one would know how involved Cindy personally is with the child. So to the investigators, they're like, okay, our potential suspect pool is basically at nada. They're like, there's no one that they could, like, identify, like, a specific parent that had especially strong beef with Sydney or anything like that. So they're still at square one, and we're a year in, at least.
How weird.
Bizarre. It seemed like maybe a stalker was also sending letters to her house, or to her work, like you said, like thinking that they didn't know where she lived. But that came all crumbling down in October when Cindy's dog Heidi woke Cindy up in the middle of the night. Cindy calmed Heidi down and went back to sleep, but the next morning, they found a dead cat in her garden with a rope around its neck.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that the most sickening thing you ever heard?
Yeah. See, the rope around the neck is kind of...
Creepy.
Seems like he's following that.
That's true. Yeah, and a note that said, "You're next." He's also a note lover.
Yeah, he loves notes. Or she.
Yeah.
Or they.
You love the different type of theories.
Yeah, I just think it's a girl.
Okay. So nearly the next 2 weeks, the stalker's like ruining her garden, and then they're putting another dead cat in her back door. She was struggling to keep herself together. I'm like,
Jeez.
Girl, get roommates, get a shotgun, get anything. Like, you are not protecting yourself well enough. This is terrifying. This is obviously big threats.
Move to a different state or country. Go to the
come
U.S.
to America.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The land of the brave. Home of the free.
Wow, beautifully
I
said.
think, land of the free, home of the brave. I mean, something like that.
Either way. At this point, she's over the moon. She's over it. I don't know the terminology. She is beyond scared. So she gets a private investigator, Ozzy Caban. I think so I say it. Ozzy was a huge private investigator, super well known, worked with famous people, including Queen Elizabeth II.
Dang.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
He started his career as a bodyguard.
World traveler.
Yeah, worked his way up. He's crushing it. And his big thing is honor. Like, he was not going to work with you if you're not an honest person. He will literally reject your case if he feels like you're being dishonest with him.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
is the right thing to do.
I'm to the point where I can do whatever I want.
He's like, I'm so famous, I can pick and choose who I want to work with. So November 14th, 1983, Cindy hired Ozzy to take on her case. And they had met a few times, and Ozzy found her to be honest, like a reliable person. And so he promised that he would protect her and solve this case. Ozzy started right away and gave her some equipment to like help her feel safe, including a two-way radio. So the idea was, he instructed her, if she ever felt unsafe, if anything was ever happening, anything amiss, she would call him and say, Cindy, help. Like, who she is, she needs help right now. Like, real quick. Ozzy would then rush over to her and help her out. And everything was quiet for almost 6 weeks at this point. Everything seemed calm. Nothing was on the radio. Until one night, a call came from Cindy. Cindy, help. Ozzy rushed over but found the house locked up completely. All the doors, all the windows. And he peeked through and he saw Cindy on the floor and there was blood everywhere. Like I said, the door was locked, so he knocked down the door.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he kicked it open. People are so crazy for that. I feel like that's such a skill.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, I can imagine. He bust down the door and yelled, "Come out, you bastard!" Like whisper. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if I'll say that word. He yelled at him, Ozzy believing that the guy was still in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he saw the dog, Heidi, was hiding under the table and Cindy was in the middle of the hallway with all that blood around her. Ozzy thought he was too late. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I was too late. Cindy is dead. He called the police and told them that there was a dead body. And when the police showed up, they found Ozzy outside. He told them that he'd only touched the phone. He was waiting for the cops to arrive. So Detective Bauer Smythe showed up and started working right away because him and Ozzy were like obviously the main investigators on this. So they started going over the crime scene. Mm-hmm. As they were doing this, they discovered that Cindy was still breathing.
Oh, man.
That's so shocking to me. Ozzy's like, takes a peek.
Yeah. It's like, can't contaminate
dead
the scene.
bod.
Looks dead to me.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell he knew what he was doing because he didn't touch anything.
Yeah.
She was alive, and paramedics came in and discovered a black nylon stocking tied so tightly around her neck that everyone missed it. It had been like in the folds of her neck from like laying down, and they just all missed it, not knowing it was there. There was also, depending on the source, there was also a knife through her hand, and either a note next to her hand that said, "Now you must die, C-word," or that letter was on her hand and the knife was through the letter and the hand on her.
That would be crazy.
That's creepy. That's like very psychopathic behavior. Mm-hmm. You don't really hear that ever, except for like in movies.
Yeah.
So disturbing.
And the mafia.
And the mafia does stuff like that?
I feel like.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're leaving behind creepy notes and such. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's horrible. So Cindy was taken to the hospital while Ozzy and Detective Bauer Smythe examined the house. And there was a trail of blood leading from the kitchen to the table and finally to where Cindy was lying in the hallway. So it looked as though she was trying to crawl to get away from her attacker. So one of the officers said that the bloody scene was unlike he's ever seen before.
Wow.
Yeah. The officer also noted in his report that it looked like someone either tried to clean up the scene, or even Ozzy mentioned maybe it was from her, if she was like trying to crawl away, her coat could have been smearing it like it looked like it was trying to get cleaned up. So whether, I mean, those are both just theories on whether.
How's the bathroom?
How's the bathroom?
Yeah, is anyone trying to clean up anything in the bathroom again?
It seems as though maybe. They also found blood in the bathroom sink and the toilet this time. So weird. I'm like, maybe this person's trying to get cleaned up.
Yeah, he's trying to clean his hands before he goes out in public again. He doesn't want blood on stuff.
So it definitely seems like the same perpetrator. Can you imagine it's somebody else just like coincidentally?
Just a new neighborhood, new creeper.
Oh my gosh,
stalker.
that'd be horrible. But it didn't seem like anything else in the house was touched. Like, it wasn't like it was a robbery gone wrong. It wasn't like they're after anything specific besides Cindy herself. They also noticed that like Cindy had these huge floor-to-ceiling corner windows in the kitchen, and when they like patrolled or talked to all the neighbors, no one saw anything. He's like, "There's massive windows, and like you can see straight into her house," and nobody saw anything. Crazy. Also, I'm like, Cindy, what are you doing with massive windows when you got a stalker? That's so creepy.
So yeah, it's like, already broken in.
Yes, yeah, seriously, multiple times. So they need to talk to
and
Cindy.
Husband and ex-guy that like to bang on your windows.
Yeah, seriously. And they like to look in your windows every night for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's time to talk to Cindy. At the hospital, Cindy finally described her attacker, the physical appearance.
Actual?
From what her memory is. She said he's a white male, mid-30s, 5'11" to 6 feet tall, average build, medium brown hair that was trimmed collar length with brown eyes. Okay. This did not match anyone that they were looking at. Did not match Roy, did not match Pat. So it felt frustrating to investigators because it feels like they're still at square one. And on top of it, it's kind of frustrating because they felt like Cindy was still holding something back. Ozzy knew that she was hiding something, but like hasn't directly lied. Evidently, he has got that radar. He knows when someone's telling the truth. Other than Cindy, 2 people had the key to her house. Her bestie, Agnes, down the street, and little ex-boyfriend friend, Pat McBride, the police officer. It was around this time that Cindy broke things off with Pat, and they obviously remained friends. But Ozzy was like, I do not like Pat. No guy is chill with they're obsessed with you and they're fine being friends. He did not believe that this was normal ex-boyfriend behavior, trying to protect her still. He was very suspicious, to the point where Ozzy actually followed Pat multiple times and a few times found him peeking into Cindy's windows at night. Like you said, they're still making their own patrols, evidently, or just peeking in her windows. So bizarre. And
How bizarre.
How bizarre. I forgot about that. Ozzy believed that Pat was using his position of power to get closer to Cindy, which would make sense to me. Especially because he is the one that put in the deadbolts and put in all the security. Like, he would know how to get around
Is that the
it.
other place, isn't that?
My other question, too, is I don't know if Pat knew Cindy before she called about the break-ins.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe...
Probably not him.
Yeah, unless, like, he knew her, about her.
Or there's multiple.
And then he was trying to find a way to, like, get involved, and then she
Yeah.
called. Like, so maybe he was doing that to get involved.
Like, all right, there's been a stalker.
He's like, I'm on it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll patrol.
I know. So I'm not sure if he knew her before or not. It doesn't seem like he knew until she was calling about this stuff. So it seemed like maybe that's not how he got involved. Anyways, but this was what drove me crazy.
Okay.
So the police are like, we need to look into this guy as a potential suspect. Unbeknownst to anybody in the world, I couldn't find it. Hannah couldn't find it anywhere. Evidently, they're eventually able to rule him out as a suspect. I don't know why. I think that's the most infuriating thing ever. Mm-hmm. I wish that there was more information on it, but for whatever reason, upon further inspection, Pat is not their guy. That's a shock to me to this day.
Yeah.
With Pat cleared, obviously I don't like to think that it's because he has any weight in the law enforcement world, but you never know. Well, with Pat cleared, that left one likely suspect. Roy! You know the reference? But
no.
Troy.
Oh, I see.
That's what he's
Wow.
Yep, nailed it. Ozzy had gone back to the house while Cindy was still in the hospital, and he noticed that the side door to the garage was open slightly, and next to the door was a stack of boxes. In his theory, he thinks that somebody went to attack Cindy, and when Ozzy showed up in the police shortly after, he thinks that potentially Roy was sitting on those boxes and watching from that garage side door, seeing them do their crime scene investigation.
Creepy.
That's terrifying. And he had no proof. It's just a theory. And it's crazy how he even like came up with that. But that thought is so terrifying. Because he's like, we got here so fast. How would he have made his escape that quickly?
Yeah.
Ugh. It was starting to come out that Roy, despite what everyone thought, was not the greatest husband to Cindy.
Tell me more.
Besides the whole cheating part.
Yeah.
Evidently, she would show up to work with black eyes and bruises. She always had an excuse. One time, she even went to work with a cast on her foot, and she told them that people that she fell down the stairs. What she lacked mentioning was that Roy had hit her head so hard she fell down the stairs.
Whoa.
Yeah. Disturbing. So Ozzy obviously never liked Roy either, and he thought he must be the stalker. It finally came out that Cindy kind of was starting to believe that Roy could have been the stalker as well. Now, that confused me. I don't know what Roy looks like, if he has shoulder-length hair, collarbone, whatever, but I think she's under the impression that there's no one else in her life that would have that type of motive, and that's why she was scared to say anything, because he knows her family and doesn't want to put them in harm's way. When Roy hadn't heard from Cindy in a few days, he actually called her work to see what was going on. And evidently, to him, that's how he found out that she had been attacked and she's in the hospital. They're like, go talk to detectives. Like, you gotta, if you want to find out more. So he does. He's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to detectives. Shows up at the sheriff's office. And the detective's like, oh, perfect. We've been wanting to talk to you. Come sit down. And they go on to
Got
talk
him.
for 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they use the opportunity to interrogate him. Roy thought that the police wanted his help. He's like, perfect. I will tell you everything I think. I'll tell you all my theories. His big theory being the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I was like, do they do that? He thinks that it could have been the mafia because of her work with the children being abused home. I don't know the correlation.
Yeah, that sounds
I don't
weird.
know if he thinks that mafia are involved with the parents of the children that she's watching or what's the relation. But the police wouldn't listen. They're like, yeah, that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
They then said that they had been talking to Cindy and knew that he was abusive.
Mm.
Roy was like, me? Like,
Couldn't be.
I only hit her a few times and I didn't injure
Then
her.
who?
Exactly. Roy is like, I didn't do anything to like cause that bad of bodily harm.
Yeah.
But Roy never said anything incriminating in that investigation, and so they actually had to release him. But when Roy got out, he wrote Cindy a nice little colorful letter being like, so why did you tell me when I was being all abusive? This is making me look bad.
Yeah.
He suggested that Cindy needs psychiatric help.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, at this time, Otto, so the dad, thought that Roy must have been the most likely suspect as well. I don't know, obviously, how close Otto and Cindy are at this time, but obviously he knows the most about Roy. So he decided to work with the police to try and get some sort of confession out of him or anything that could be incriminating. So Otto and Roy went out to a cafe one time. Otto was wearing a wire, and he was trying to do anything to get proof of Roy being involved.
Mm-hmm.
Otto told Roy to stay away from Cindy, that he does not want him anywhere near his daughter. And Roy started going on and on about this theory. He's like,
The
it's
mafia?
the mafia. Yeah, he is convinced. And I don't know if it's because he's trying to throw everybody off this trail or if he's like, I actually dead on believe that this is what is going on. Right? So I don't know which one it is. He believes that. And after meeting with Otto, Roy actually sent him a 6-page letter to Otto explaining the theory in very specific detail, encouraging Otto to share it with the police to try and get them to look into the mafia. Nothing ever seemed to come from this. But I can't tell if he like thoroughly believes it or if he's trying so hard to get people to look the other way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. In the summer of 1984, there seemed to be attack after attack. Like, this is like part of the 12
The
majors.
80s?
We can't even,
12 majors? Wow.
yeah, we can't even go into every single detail. This will be a 6-parter.
6-parter.
Yeah, 6-parter. Can you imagine? But Ozzy would rush over there, and one day he found Cindy hiding in her garden. She said there was someone in her house. Ozzy went and inspected, couldn't find anyone in there, but Heidi the dog was missing.
Whoa.
After further inspection, he later found her towards the basement, cowering. She had been abused and had a rope around her neck.
That's sad.
Similar to the ropes that have been around the dead cats from before.
Wow.
So maybe you're right about a sadist thing.
Yeah.
There again has been a note with Heidi this time saying happy birthday and had
That's
some
random.
sexually explicit photos. Yeah. From what I understand, it was no one's birthday. It's really creepy. And then they also found cigarette butts found on the window seals that did not match the brand Cindy smoked. And it's frustrating because it's the 80s. They don't have the technology. It doesn't seem like they save that evidence because nowadays cigarette butts are like the prime piece of DNA evidence.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It doesn't seem as though they saved the cigarette butts. Cindy's
That's a
mother, yeah. So Cindy's mother, Tilly, like a little Matilda. I think that is such a fun name. I won't stop talking about it. Tilly decided to stay the night on July 9th. She was worried about her daughter, rightfully so. It was early in the morning when she woke to Heidi barking. When Tilly got up, she saw Cindy was running around the house, locking all the doors, making sure all the windows are locked, which is so sad how like she hears a dog bark and she immediately does her security check. Oh, that's so sad. So the two went back to bed, and as the two did, they're laying back in bed, they heard the doorbell ring. They go downstairs, and the front window had now been cracked open. It seems like they're just taunting Cindy. I don't know how they got the window open when she just did her checks, but you know they're standing outside watching her check everything just to wait to ring the doorbell and open the window.
Yeah.
That scares me so bad. I can't think of anything that gives me worse chills.
Seriously.
Then, just 2 weeks later, on July 23rd, Cindy was alone and she was attacked again. Cindy had taken Heidi out for a walk later in the evening at Dunbar Park. Cindy said that a green van pulled up next to her, and a man with a beard asked her a question. Cindy noticed that there was a woman passenger and felt a bit more comfortable.
It's a girl.
Felt a bit more comfortable talking to the man, and she approached the car. It wasn't until after hours of looking Cindy was found.
She was taken in the van?
And this is where we're going to start. Stop.
Oh,
Yeah,
freak.
stop part 1.
That's a good stopping point.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we'll find out next week the complicated ending to Cindy's story. But you need to know how aggressively she was tormented.
Yeah.
Back to back. Like calls, notes, dead cats, literally physical abuse attacks.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And all leading up to this green van.
Wow. Spooky.
I know. So we do green van comment.
Yeah. So if you made it to the end of the podcast or YouTube video, comment the green van so we know you made it to the end.
Maybe we'll give you a shout out if you do that because that'd be pretty
We will
cool.
give you a shout out.
Oh, we will for sure. I know we've never done a little keyword, which is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, green van. Yeah, I'm so excited to finish telling you the story next week. But before we go,
no true crime news.
Oh, we don't have true crime news today. So we'll be back with true crime news next week and another episode, part 2 of Siblings in Crime.
Thank you.